Hello and welcome to another episode of the e-commerce coffee break. Today I have Deb Mecker with me and we're talking about average order value and how to increase that. Hey Deb, how are you today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Klaus.
Give me a bit of a background, a bit of what you do, and just a bit of an introduction.
Sure. I'm the director of marketing for 10 Shopify apps that all work around the average order value or increasing sales on the Shopify store.
Okay, excellent. Now, with average order value, obviously that's one of the three pillars on how to grow a business, where one is obviously to get a higher number of clients to a store. Second one is then already to increase the average order value. And third one would be getting more people more often back to your store. So average order value, obviously something that's most important for most store owners, which I think is often overseen. A lot of people focus too much on just getting more traffic, more first-time visitors, and only increasing average order value is a bit of an afterthought for a lot of them. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, so the pre-click is super important because you want to make that first impression to someone who's coming in, and then it has to be followed up when they get there. So you have to dazzle them and wow them with an experience that's going to be different than anything that they've experienced elsewhere, or at least in line with what they expect to have when they go to your store. So, if you think about taking the physical location and turning it into an online opportunity, shoppers are savvy now and they're expecting a lot more out of that experience. So increasing average order value, I mean, if you're already paying for the click or you're already bringing these people into your home, then you might as well dazzle them and get them to buy more. You go to a store and as you're waiting in line, there's millions of opportunities to increase the value of your order while you're standing there. I mean, of course you need another candle. Of course you need, a new floaty for your pool during the summertime. And so these weren't things that you went into the store thinking that you were going to buy, but it's just super easy for you to grab and go and add that to your cart. And so offering that online is just as important as it is in the physical location. And shoppers expect that kind of experience and they'll come back because of it. It's like, if they're the first time buyer to your store and you got them on like a specific ad, it brought them to the landing page for that specific product. They put it in the cart. It's really fun. It's really exciting. And then, wow, you offer them something complimentary that will go with it. They didn't have to do anything to get there. They didn't have to dig. They didn't have to spend extra time, but they're super happy that you've made that available to them. And guess what? They're going to tell their friends. They're going to be like, wow, not only did I love this one product, but I also really loved this other product or multiple products. So you really not doing that, I think, just leaves a lot of money on the table. And it also leaves the opportunity for you to deepen your relationship with the customer on the table as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's like, do you want to have fries with that? What McDonald's does for like centuries, like ages. I mean, that's what's happening in the brick and mortar world. Now, and obviously, when it comes to online, I think Amazon does give a very good example on how to upsell you on products, on related products. While in the Shopify world, often I see examples where people try to do an upsell or cross-sell, but sometimes it's a bit odd. So they try to upsell you something or to cross-sell you something which is not really related to the product that you're actually buying. So they just try to throw something into the basket, which does not really make sense. Or even when they have some kind of features in there, it's like you also might like, and then you see products from a complete different collection in there. So it does not really match what you're doing. So obviously having an app that supports that might make it easier to increase your order value. Now, obviously, you're a marketing director for a range of apps. What kind of apps do you have to facilitate this or to make it easier for a store owner to offer upsells or cross-sells?
Yeah, so we have an app called In-Cart Upsell, and it's been around in the Shopify ecosystem for the past 5 years. And we service over 12,000 merchants. And we have this really great technology, this engine that's very smart. It has conditional logic behind it that does exactly what you said. So that Amazon experience, like if you're going to be buying, for example, if you're going to buy a camera, well, you don't just buy the camera in Amazon land. You also, they couple it with all the things that make sense for it to go with. And I mean, why wouldn't you buy all 5 of those things that are complementary? Because you're definitely going to need an SD card. You're definitely going to need a tripod. All the extra things that they put with it, you will need. And so they just make it super easy for you to just throw it all in together and do that. And in-cart upsell does that as well. So it's really, really intuitive. It's really smart. And it also, it doesn't interrupt the customer experience. So like we all hate pop-ups. They're relevant in certain cases. Like if you're doing like a lead capture scenario, absolutely throw a pop-up up there. But if people are just trying to check out, like don't annoy them with pop-ups like flying out all over the place. So in-cart upsell does not do that. It's embedded directly on the cart page, the product page, the cart drawer. And so it's kind of like a no-brainer scenario. And then you could do some fun things, like you can customize it. And, like we've seen carousels with upsell offers on the cart page, which is like a cool way of showcasing relevant products that they could cross-sell or buy in addition to what they already have in their cart.
Yeah, I think a very important point that you mentioned there is pop-ups. I see a lot of upsell apps that trying to interrupt basically the flow with a pop-up. And I think that hurts the user experience more than it helps, especially when they try to hide, I don't know, the cross where you can close the pop-up, or it is not clear what's the next step. And I think having a online shopping experience is all about having the right flow to make it as seamless and flawless as possible for the user to go through the website, especially when I think about elderly buyers over 60. There's sometimes, if there's too much happening on the site, on the page, they're just overwhelmed, and then the likelihood that they will just bounce off because they're feeling not secure on what they're doing there is very high. So what other apps do you have? I mean, obviously in-cart upsell is I know that app for years, and I think it's, as you said, used by a lot of stores. What else do you have?
So you could do, we have another app called Upselly, which also does upsell and cross-sell offers as well. We have an app called Sales Rocket that has 40 plus apps put into one. It has just kind of like all different types of functionality, including like frequently bought together. And there's an upsell component. It's a very basic upsell component, but it helps more of like the new, I guess if you're just getting started, it's a good entry point into upselling with that. I think, the best in class is obviously going to be in-cart upsell. And then we also have like other things that aren't necessarily like upsell cross-sell, but it's increasing your average order value. So we have product customizer, also been around for a number of years, and you can increase your sales by just like simply adding a variant that has an upsell component to it. So that's really handy because people want those options. They want to be able to add something on if you want to engrave something or whatever. And then we also have, let me think what else we have in the like upsell kind of, so we have like pre-order now, which also helps increase sales. It doesn't necessarily, I mean, I guess it does increase your average order value because if you're going in with a specific product, and instead of seeing something that's out of stock, you can pre-order it. So you can couple it all together and help your customer get what they want when they want to get it, and not have to come back or just be annoyed overall that it's not available when they want to make that purchase. We also have an app called Bulk Discounts Now, which allows you to discount in multiple tiers across multiple products. So you don't have to be like a wholesaler to take advantage of using an app like that. If you just want to offer like multiple products at a deep discount. And I mean, when was the last time you found like a t-shirt that you really liked and you wanted to buy 5 of them? That happened. Like this t-shirt I have on right now, I bought 2 at $18 a pop, and then I went back and bought another 2. Well, it would have been nice if I could like buy them in bulk and get like a little bit of a discount, because that would just give me a better experience overall. I mean, I still bought them all, but it would have been nice to be able to buy them in bulk. So stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I think
MeUndies does a really good job of offering bulk. You can buy like 5 and you get like a deep discount and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think increasing the average order value is not just in upselling or cross-selling them. I mean, there's other ways like bundling, for instance, or make it easier for them to buy more of the same. And I see this on a lot of stores. They obviously have the quantity selector where you can go and say, I want 2, 3 of them. But a lot of people do not even think about that they can buy 2 or 3. So if you then basically have an app or have a feature on your product page that makes it easier to create a bundle or just show them is like buy 2 or more and save, then you are, as a seller, as a retailer, are still increasing your average order value. So that definitely helps. In regards of the pre-order app, I'm a big fan of that. I had one coaching client last year in November who was running out of stock in Q4, leading up to the holiday season, to Christmas. And I gave him a tip to do pre-sell or pre-order, and he made an additional $100,000 that he otherwise wouldn't have made, only by including one simple app. So people are still ordering if you communicate very clearly when they can expect the product to be back in stock. I mean, I think that's very important, that you really make sure that the customer is informed of what's going to happen. Otherwise, you end up with refunds and chargeback requests that obviously will hurt your business.
Just like a customer service hassle, I think to your point, when you do that, you do have to have a bit of a plan, or at least be very clear in the fact that you don't know when it's going to happen and they're at risk of being in limbo about that. Like whatever it is, you sort of just have to super communicate it up front. Obviously having a date would be the best option, but if there isn't a date available and you have a super hot product, maybe you have these like raving fans that don't even care. They just want to know that they can get it, they are in line to get it, and that when it is available, it will be released to them before it would be released to somebody else. Or if it, being in a longer line, that whole adage of like, I would rather know that I'm in line around the corner to get into that Starbucks or that to get those concert tickets or whatever than not, because I've run the risk of not being able to get whatever it is that day. So I think there is a psychology behind that as well. So yeah, we have 2 apps. One's called Pre-Order Now and the other one's called Pre-Orderly that does pre-orders. And then they also handle back in stock. So just as important is when you have back in stock. So, that's also something that's available within that solution as well.
Yeah, I have used pre-order apps in my own store in a way like a Kickstarter campaign. So a brand new product, which was still in production, and just to get some money through the door, basically to finance the production, I started a pre-order campaign. And I think I did run that 2 or 3 times in my store, and it was always successful. So if you keep in mind, you can do a sort of a Kickstarter campaign even in a normal Shopify store without having a huge technical implementation to do, then this might help as well. Now, with the different apps that you have, obviously I'm a big fan of having as little apps as possible in a store, just not to slow down your store. Site speed's important there. Also, sometimes apps influence each other in a negative way. What's your recommendation there? How many apps would you recommend, or what do you think are the most important apps out of the ones that you have to install?
I mean, I think it just depends on what you have going on and how much traffic you're getting. Like you brought up the point where people spend a lot of time concentrating on getting the click, and they don't necessarily maybe think so much about the after click. So if you're driving a ton of traffic, then you have more robust needs. You do. You're going to need multiple solutions offering a wide range of things, even down to like shipping and fulfillment. Sometimes even with that, there are a lot of delays or whatever that goes on. So it gets a lot more complicated. So I don't think that there's like a one size fits all answer for a store. Like you should only have 3 apps, because I think that that becomes limiting the larger your business does grow and the more needs that it does have. I think any store just kind of getting off and getting running, you don't necessarily need upsell apps right out of the gate. But I think once you start driving, some traffic and you want to optimize for that traffic, then having an app like that is just a no-brainer. Offering a pre-order solution creates hype around new product launches. So if you're launching your store, you want to have a solution like that in place. Or if you're looking to make some hype around a new collection or anything along those lines, then you always want to kind of have that in the background. We have a swimwear brand that we work with Pre-Order Now, and their swimwear just flies off the shelf. And so for a long time, they were just missing sales because they were always out of stock. It wasn't that they were like opening up new collections. They just kept going out of stock. And so one of their customers actually told them to install Pre-Order Now or launch a pre-order solution. And once they did that, they increased their sales by 50%. So that's something that they always have in the background because they're always going out of stock. So it's like they turn it on, they turn it off, they turn it on, they turn it off based on their needs. So I don't know that I answered your question, but I do think that there's a time and place for everyone, and that there isn't a one size fits all model for all stores. That you're going to need different apps at different times. I think that's where the power of our Sales Rocket app comes in. You have 40 plus apps in one app, so it doesn't slow down the store speed, and you get a lot of different functionalities across the board. And I mean, if you look at our reviews, they're just like, this is amazing, this is the best thing that ever happened in my store. And it does a bunch of different things, so you're not paying a ton, you're not paying per app, and you're also not slowing down your store by having multiple apps doing all the things that this one does.
Okay, no, I think you're totally right. It really depends on the client, on the business model, on what you want to run in the background. And where can people find out more about your apps?
So we have a Facebook group. I guess in the show notes, we can add all of the links and the individual app links to that. Sure. I think that's the best place to go.
Okay. And obviously, I think with most apps, there's a free trial period for them, or how does it work?
Yeah. So all of our apps go from anywhere from a 7-day free trial to a 30-day free trial, depending on which app it is. Some of them are free. There's a free version, and then other ones, it doesn't make sense to have a free version. So it really kind of just depends on which app it is, but yeah.
Cool. I will definitely put the links in the show notes so that everyone can go and check them out for themselves. Thanks, Deb. That was, I think, a good overview on how to increase average order value and what kind of apps will support you there in your business. I think coffee break is over. Back to work. Thanks so much for your time. There we
Cheers.
go.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Have a great day. Talk soon.
You too. Take care.
Hey, Klaus here. Before you leave, I have a question for you. Are you a Shopify store owner and you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and not sure what to do next to grow your business? Do you struggle to convert traffic into sales and turn website visitors into buyers? Do you want to have direct access to a mentor who can assist you with your store, your strategy, offer, marketing, sales, and anything else you might need in your business? Then I would invite you to apply for my Get Conversions program, where I show you how to remove the guesswork out of growing your Shopify business and create clarity to optimize your business for maximal growth and profit. This is an application-only program. To apply, go to klauslauter.com to learn more. And finally, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It's a huge help and allows me to reach more people with this channel. Thanks in advance, and until next time at the e-commerce coffee break.